Look at this table where we have the age in one row and number of people in the other. The class intervals are 1 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, 11 to 15 years, and 16 to 20 years. Number of people who are aged between 1 and 5 years are 7, aged between 6 and 10 years are 12, 15 people have their age between 11 and 15 years, and 10 people in the last group. So here, the class intervals are discontinuous. The upper limit 5 of this interval is not the same as the lower limit of its next interval, and is the same for all intervals. What do we do in this case? As histograms are used to plot the frequency of continuous data, we have to make the intervals continuous. We have to use continuous forms of grouping. Let's see how we do it. We know that the upper limit of the interval 1 to 5 is 5 and the lower limit of the interval 6 to 10 is 6. But there is another amazing concept we have to understand. The concept of true upper limit of a class interval. It will equal the average of the upper limit of the interval and the lower limit of the next interval. Let's understand the true upper limit of 1 to 5. The upper limit of 1 to 5 is 5 and the lower limit of the next interval is 6. So the true upper limit of the interval 1 to 5 will equal 5 plus 6 divided by 2. That will be 11 by 2, which equals 5.5. So we say that 5.5 is the true upper limit of the interval 1 to 5. And guess what? This 5.5 also becomes the true lower limit for the interval 6 to 10, which is the next immediate interval. Do not get confused with this new term. We use true upper and lower limits just to convert the discontinuous form of class intervals into continuous form. Okay, let's try it one more time. We find the true upper limit of the next interval, which is 6 to 10. 10 is its upper limit and 11 is the lower limit of the next interval. So the true upper limit of 6 to 10 will be 10 plus 11 by 2, which equals 10.5. And just as in the previous case, this will become the true lower limit of the next interval, which is 11 to 15. And this process continues till we reach the last interval. So what does all this mean? How does it make the intervals continuous? We can make a new table with the true upper and lower limits. The first interval will be 0.5 to 5.5. 5.5 is the true upper limit of the first class, which as we saw is also the true lower limit of the next class. The second interval will hence be 5.5 to 10.5. So if we look at the first two intervals, we can see that the upper limit of the first interval is the lower limit of the second interval. And since 10.5 is also the true lower limit for the interval 11 to 15, it will be written as 10.5 to 15.5. And the last interval is written as 15.5 to 20.5. We wrote the lower limit of the first class as 0.5 in order to comply with the rules of grouping. The class width has to be the same throughout. We can see that the first class includes all numbers from 1 to 5, the second includes all numbers from 6 to 10, and the same with the other two classes. It tells us that the number of people does not change for any of the classes. It will be 7, 12, 15 and 10. This is how we convert discontinuous class intervals to continuous class intervals. And now with this table, we can successfully make a histogram to represent the number of people in various age groups.